Ancient and elusive, they are the keepers of balance in our oceans. Hammer, angel, great white, tiger, manta. Refined over millions of years, their powers are unique. They are super sharks. Together, they ensure the stability of our world's life support. The oceans. Our oceans need super sharks. We need them, and they need our help. Assemble the super sharks and help them save our seas.
Sharks and rays. They are often dismissed as monsters of the sea. But these majestic, enigmatic creatures are actually essential wardens of our marine environment. Found in every ocean across the world, they play a fundamental role in ensuring balance and stability in our oceans. Sadly, this role is jeopardized by overfishing and habitat loss. Around 3 billion people rely on fish as their primary source of protein. Ongoing declines in shark populations could have devastating and unpredictable impacts on marine food webs and even our own food supply. The plight of sharks and rays was the spark for the Save Our Seas Foundation, founded over 15 years ago. Through the funding and support of research, conservation, and education initiatives, we are dedicated to safeguarding the future of sharks and rays. Today we have 3 centers based in Seychelles, South Africa, and the USA. Since 2003, we have funded over 300 projects on over 60 species in over 50 countries. We have also partnered long-term with several projects, including the Shark Spotters in South Africa, the Shark Lab in the Bahamas, and the Manta Trust. We're passionate about our mission: protect the future of sharks and rays and our oceans for generations to come. We can and will make a difference. The Save Our Seas Foundation.
Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great evening so far. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes or so. Give everyone some time to roll in for our event tonight. Thank you all very, very much for joining and being here a little bit early. We'll get started very soon.
I used to actually be terrified in any water where I couldn't see the bottom. Tales of monsters lurking in the deep. What are these enigmatic, crazy creatures? the first recognizable ancestors of sharks, existed before trees. Whereas now, they could be facing collapse in a single generation. I actually think it's very hard to know just how much you love something until you lose it. Grief is the price we pay for love. The thing that drove me on this path was a pure passion for the animals themselves. I didn't start out wanting to save them because I didn't know that they needed saving or help.
This one's for the ocean.
I realized that if we want to help save sharks, we need to make sure they have safe places to live in.
This is Sharks for Kids. From Sharks for Kids, and we're here in the Turks and Caicos Islands for Project Lemonade, collecting data from young of the year and juvenile lemon sharks. We want to understand a little bit more about where they're spending their time, how they're using this critically important mangrove habitat. And in order to do that, we're pit tagging, we're taking different measurements, and learning a little bit more about these amazing animals. So stay tuned for more on this exciting project. All right, 1, 2, go, buddy, go.
Sharks and rays. They are ancient, enigmatic, misunderstood, and essential to our oceans. But these important animals are under immense pressure. As the Save Our Seas Foundation, we're here to help. Through supporting research, conservation, and education, we work to ensure a future for sharks and rays. The Save Our Seas Foundation. Together, we can make a difference.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Save Our Seas Foundation Distinguished Speaker Series, coming to you live from the Museum of Discovery and Science in downtown Fort Lauderdale. I'm Lance Cottrell. I'm the Director of Environmental Sustainability here at the museum. And tonight we're joined by an amazing speaker, researcher, educator, Jillian Morris. She's going to be talking to us all about her project Lemonade and other things that she's up to. First, though, I would like to thank the Save Our Seas Foundation for making this series possible. If this is your first one, welcome. We're going to be having a series of these talks with shark scientists from all over the world, all the way through December. So some months there's one talk, some months there's 2 talks. So you can check us out at mods.org for more information about joining the entire series and listening to some fantastic shark scientists. The Museum of Discovery and Science is in sunny Fort Lauderdale, Florida. If you've ever been, we highly encourage you to come on back sometime. There's a beautiful picture of our museum. We're right in downtown Fort Lauderdale. Our mission is to connect people to inspiring science. So I think we're doing that tonight by connecting you with a shark researcher that's out there in the world doing some really, really fantastic and inspiring science just in what they're doing. Our 4 kind of strategic action pillars and kind of drive everything we do at the museum centers on physical science education, early childhood education, health and wellness education, and tonight, environmental sustainability, all right? So that's kind of my realm there at the museum, and tonight you're getting a little bit of a peek into that world. Again, thank you all very much for coming. We have just a few little things about the call tonight and about the event. If you have any questions, please put them into the chat. I'm going to monitor the chat as we go along, and you can put them all there. If you have a question that's pertinent to what Jillian is talking about right at the moment, I'll ask it for you on your behalf. You don't have to wait to the very end, but we will have 10, maybe 15 minutes at the very end dedicated for Q&A as well. But other than that, that's pretty much it. All right. Welcome, Jillian. How are you tonight?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm really excited to chat again.
Yeah, for those of you that were able to join us last year as part of the Distinguished Speaker Series, Jillian joined us then and kind of gave us an overview of what she's doing with her project, and she's returning to give us an update and tell us all about the amazing things. A little bit about Jillian before we get started, though. Born and raised in Maine, Jillian's love for the ocean started at an early age and has continued to play an integral role in her adult life. She spent thousands of hours in the field working and diving with sharks across the globe. She is a mom, a marine biologist, a shark conservationist, author, and educator. She wears many, many hats. She has filmed for numerous television shows and networks, has appeared on Shark Week, and is a PADI ambassador. She was named Scuba Diving Magazine's July 2016 Sea Hero, awarded the inaugural SharkCon Shark Hero Award in 2017, and was the Go Blue Awards 2020 Blue Ambassador of the Year. She is the author of Norman the Nurse Shark and Shark Superpowers, and a member of the prestigious Ocean Artists Society. Jillian, again, welcome. We're so happy to have you.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And please bear with me. I am getting over a pretty nasty cold. So if I grab the water a lot and a cough drop maybe. So I'm going to do my best to get through this. But yeah, thank you so much. I'm really excited to chat a little bit about Project Lemonade, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and some of the updates, because we just finished our third field season. So, or the first half of our third field season. So it's really exciting to see what we're finding out.
Great.
Let me go ahead.
Well, go ahead and, like I said, share your screen and show us all the pretty pictures and videos of your project and everything. And while Jillian is sharing, just a reminder for everyone, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Type them into the chat as we go along.
There we go.
All right. I can almost see it.
There we go. It was blocked. There was lots of stuff there. All right. So tonight I'm going to talk about Project Lemonade, which is our community shark conservation, research, education, and outreach project in the Turks and Caicos, and a little bit about how we got started, why we're doing it, and what we're finding. Thank you so much for the intro, Lance. I am a marine biologist. I'm based in Bimini in the Bahamas, so I do get to spend a lot of time in the water with sharks, diving with them and taking lots of photos and videos. And then I also do get to still work on various research projects, including Project Lemonade, which is near and dear to my heart and has really become an incredible passion project that I'm super excited to be sharing with you today. And like I said, I do spend a lot of time photographing, filming these animals, and what that is used for. One, it's amazing to see them. Very lucky in Bimini. We have some big beauties, like that was Joker, I believe that was Gaia, and getting up close with these animals. And then what I really love is taking those images and those videos and using them for education through Sharks for Kids. And you can see down there, there's some posters and things. So using all of that to create educational resources to help students and adults and educators understand these animals a little bit more, from seeing them up close, seeing them with us, but also understand what shark science is, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, all of that. And so let me begin with what Sharks for Kids is. So we are a nonprofit organization, and the goal is to create the next generation of shark advocates through education, outreach, and adventure. We have team members around the globe. We started in 2012, but the website didn't actually launch until 2013, November 2013. So we just celebrated our 10th anniversary, which has been really, really exciting. And it's been an amazing journey that I had no idea what it would look like when I got started. And we have an incredible team of volunteers, ambassadors, and we've spoken to almost 250,000 students in 80 countries virtually and 18 countries in person. So we do a lot of outreach all over, a lot of classroom visit focus, both virtually and in person. But what it really kind of started at was online resources. So if you go to the website, there's lots of tabs there you can check out for teachers, for students, for educators, for parents, things like these fact sheets, which can be downloaded. Everything on the website is free. So the idea behind it was to get resources out there, materials out there to educators, to schools, to parents, to libraries that are free. They're always free to access, so that there was no sort of financial barrier for people to be able to learn more and have then the resources to say you learn about sharks in a book. There's a book in the library, but now you want to have the students doing a different activity. We have all of these for grades K through 12. And they're all free with teaching guides and guides on how to use them.
And I will make,
as I mentioned,
I will make a testament to Sharks for Kids website. It is very useful. As a former school teacher, marine science school teacher, I was on there a lot, pulling lesson plans and resources. And even today at the museum, we still use a lot of those resources. So yeah, kudos for putting that together. It's a really great resource.
Thank you. And we're currently working on a new website. So that's really, really exciting.
That's exciting.
I know. It's been in the works. So, and I love hearing that. So thank you. And that's what we want. We want organizations, and we partner with museums and other NGOs to all work together, because really the mission is the same. We want to see our oceans healthy. We want to see sharks survive. And we're all just putting our different skill sets and knowledge together to try and do that. And I think it's really incredible when organizations and people can come together and do that. So as I mentioned, we do a lot of in-person visits. Sometimes we're outside, sometimes we're in libraries or classrooms, and this is some of our team members. Matt's in Florida, Sarah was also in Florida, and then Jana actually does a lot of lessons in Puerto Rico for us. So we do have opportunities for students in various locations for the in-person. Certainly the virtual can be anywhere, but in person, our team is pretty spread out, which is great. And when I mentioned earlier, all those photos and videos, this is an example. There are 4 sharks on this particular activity pack: Harley, Joker, Gaia, and Enyo. They're all sharks that we see regularly in Bimini. So photos that I had taken and my friend Sean took are actually used and created this really fun activity packet brought to life by Sharktopia. She's an incredible artist. And then we're able to donate them. So these are kids in Bimini. These sharks are in their backyard. Hopefully when they're older, they're going to get to dive with them and learn all about them and see them up close. But to start, at least they can learn about them. And so the images go right to creating these kind of resources. And these are all free on the website to download. And the final part of what we do is really getting kids out in the field. And we've done this since we've started. We partnered with the Guy Harvey Research Institute at Nova Southeastern University. Our co-founder, Dr. Derek Burkholder, runs that program. So it's getting kids out into the field. And so we've always done that. And it's always been offered to students for free. We want to create opportunities for students to see what it's like to be a scientist, to be out in the field, to have access to that. And in this particular these photos, this was in May. We took a group of Miami shark tagging and the field school and got these Girl Scouts out, and we got 7 sharks that day. They were super excited, and it was filmed for CNN, which was really amazing. So it was featured on a recent documentary they did about seeing all different sides of shark conservation, those for it and those against it. So really kind of an interesting documentary, and the students had an incredible day. Lots of hands-on, You can see they're pulling in the lines, they set the lines, and they participate in collecting the data as well. Something I would have absolutely loved as a kid. That would have been amazing to be part of. So all of these things are resources and opportunities that we create. This is by far my favorite, getting students out into the field, giving them that experience that really can be life-changing, opportunities that maybe they would never have or didn't even realize were available to them, especially in South Florida. It's incredible because there are a lot of places that you can work with to be able to do this. So now we're in Turks and Caicos. So the first time I visited, we got talking about sharks and asking us, and my husband and I both had a lot of experience working and tagging lemon sharks. And so different people we were meeting at this event had asked if we'd be interested in doing any research. And, we started talking about it to see what was there. And because they had proposed a shark sanctuary, but it hadn't been passed. And so one of the biggest challenges was there's no data. So we need some data to support that proposal. So we said, okay. And as we developed this, our big thing was, okay, is it needed? Why are we doing this? What's the purpose? And also, how many people from the community are going to get involved? What organizations, students? We want to make this a community project, community partners, community leaders, so that it really makes an impact and it also exists beyond when we stop going. Eventually, I don't need to go there. I love it. It's an amazing project, but eventually I don't want to have to go there. I will want to go just because it's amazing, but it would be incredible to see the local community take this project over. And that's how it's been created and started. And the largest part of that was getting students involved. So we've learned a lot. Like I said, this is, we just did the first half in May into June of our third field season. This was from our first season or second. I think this is from our second season. So we've learned a lot along the way. And one of the first challenges was everyone saw sharks. They saw lemon sharks. Everyone told us lemon sharks are everywhere here. You see them all the time. But when you actually go to find them, you realize they're fishing. So of course they're on boats looking for these spots to figure out where are we going to fish, where are we going to sample. Talking to a lot of locals, their knowledge was invaluable for us to even be able to begin this project, to know where to go and where to find these animals. So methodology was a bit tricky because traditionally for juvenile and young of the year lemon sharks, we use gill nets. Sorry guys. And they're illegal there, even research. So,
do you mind explaining, Jillian, a little bit
about what our other options are going to be? So we are using drum lines. Explaining, a little bit of a gill net is.
Sorry, yeah. So there's a little bit of a delay happening, just so you're aware. Why are gill nets not so good?
So gill nets can actually cause a lot of damage because they catch everything. And the idea is that it's fine filament that actually catches the gills of the animals. And if you don't get to them in time, it takes everything. So we understand it can be, why it's banned in a lot of places. But when you're using it for research, you're checking the line, you're right there, so you can grab the sharks quickly, and any other animals that get caught, you can release them. So, but we understand why it's a method that isn't accepted everywhere. So we started to think about, well, how can we catch these little sharks? So if they're slightly bigger, drum lines will work, a weight with a baited hook and a buoy at the surface. We set these for 90 minutes. It's usually quicker than that in these areas. And we're checking it, and we try and keep them in sight as well. So if an animal is on it, we can actually check it very quickly. So you'll see we use circle hooks. Those are designed to go on the side of the shark's mouth. And if it is swallowed, it's rounded, so it's not going to cause any damage. My apologies, guys. And so the animal can also swim freely, so it's able to breathe. Ours are much smaller. We're not catching the large shark. We've also used nets. We found that putting a little bit of bait in the water, the sharks come close, can actually scoop them up, which reduces the stress of being caught. But for slightly larger ones, we do have, there's our drum, you can see right there, pretty small, getting set. Once we catch the shark, we do a standard scientific workup with our measurements. So sometimes we're holding them in coolers or holding troughs or right in the water. They're quite small, so leaving them right in the water, collecting that data as quickly as possible. You can see here, I'm holding it. Candace is taking measurements. These are the 3 measurements that we take on every single shark: a total length, a fork length, which is where the top and the bottom lobes of the shark at the tail meet, like a fork in the road, and then the precaudal length, which is right before the tail fin starts. These are just some videos that show us taking the measurements.
Can you explain, so what's why 3 measurements? What is the difference? Do those ratios change as they get older?
It's pretty standard, whether people are studying white sharks, tiger sharks, different places in the globe. It's those standard measurements. It helps us see growth rates as well. Also, the reason you can take those is, say, the ratios can be used because, say, that lemon shark you caught is missing the tip of its tail fin, right? We don't get a total length because it's missing it. You could still get an approximate total length based on those other lengths.
That makes sense.
Right? But then you have like nurse sharks. We usually don't take that because they don't have the fork length, for example, because they don't have the bottom lobe of their caudal fin, of their tail fin. Right? So we also take a girth measurement around, sort of right behind the shark's armpits, if they had armpits. And then every shark we catch gets a pit tag. And this is the tagging method that we're currently using for this. They're small, simple tags. Your pet might have one if your cat or dog is microchipped. They're exactly the same. And it's really just an ID tag, an internal ID tag that lasts for at least 20 years. So they're great. They're relatively inexpensive. We can insert them in, and instead of your cat or dogs having your address or your phone number, we're not trying to find lost sharks, but it does give that shark a numbered ID. And this is really important because ideally we want to catch these sharks again. That's how we collect our data. That's how we learn growth rates, habitat use, where they're moving to, and we can collect some really important data, but we have to be able to identify the individuals.
Do you name them?
Go ahead.
Do you name them?
Oh, yes. We have an adopt a shark program, so people do get to name them. And we also had some of our sponsors and funders that support the project have gotten to name them. So we actually had one called Meringue, which is a fun name that someone adopted. And we've caught Meringue in 2022, 2023, and 2024. So Meringue has given us a lot of data, which is really exciting. And I'll talk a little bit more about recaps. But yeah, so we have some fun names like Meringue. And you can see here, the tag's really tiny. And that's a series of numbers. It's inserted just below the dorsal fin using a syringe. And we slide that in, push the tag in, and then we use that scanner, which would be the same thing the Humane Society or your vet would have. If your pet has a microchip. And just showing, scanning, all right.
So the water is pretty shallow where you work. So you often find the juveniles in shallow water, I take it then.
Yes, very, very shallow water. And what they'll do is, particularly as they're coming out onto the flats, as the tide comes up a bit, right, bigger animals could come in there. So they're going to go further out, but they can still maneuver on those flats when the tide's lower and larger animals can't come in. So we'll actually see their movements are pretty tidal based, and that seems to be pretty consistent in other locations that they've been studied. This is also just over here taking a quick scan. Again, you can see now some of the areas are deeper, and we do work on the boat, but most of the areas it's actually really shallow, so we're just standing in the water.
That makes it easy. How old do you think these sharks are? I mean, they're pretty small, right? So are they
Yeah,
newborns?
they're
Are they a
newborns.
year or two? Okay.
Yeah, so within the last month, we think, based on, and I'll explain in a bit, like the one that myself and Duncan are both holding, those are young of the year. Oh, actually, nope, sorry, that's a recap. I believe I'll see the video what it says, but because the tags, you know, are telling us either we're getting recaps or we're getting young of the year. And so we are getting ones, and I'll talk about their belly button scars because these little guys have belly buttons, which is really cool. And that's how we can tell approximately when they were born. But we do know the reason we go in May is because we know that they tend to be born in April and May. That seems to be the cycle. So we want to go and make sure we can catch as many of those young of the year as possible, to help us try and figure out as well how many mothers are coming into this area. So the DNA is being analyzed as well. So can you hear the video, or should I talk it? I didn't know if it was, did you hear the last video?
No, I did not hear the audio.
Okay, it might be something. So so this one is a recapture, and that's what I'm explaining. So you can see the little notch, if you notice in the fin, I will talk about that. So that would have been the previous year's shark. And you can see again, super shallow in this area. There's some mangroves there, patches on the other side. And then you can see Duncan's working at a different, and what he's explaining is the belly button. All right, he's flipped the shark over. All right. All right. So we will flip the sharks over to one, look at the belly button scarring, and also whether they're male or female, also looking at the health of the shark. And we take a DNA sample. So if you notice that triangular notch, that's something that we cut. Yes, Miss Arenthia was very excited about taking this DNA sample. Some of the larger sharks we leave kind of in the net to do the workup so that we make sure. It's just sometimes it's easier. That DNA goes in that vial. It's shipped off to Dr. Kevin Feldheim, so he's looking at genetics. And what we're figuring out with that is siblings and how many mothers have come to the area. We're trying to really understand what that looks like. And because if we have a litter of pups and we have siblings, say we have 3 different litters, then we know that 3 mothers are coming into the area. And this area, that one of the main study areas, is relatively small. We're only seeing a few recaps. So most likely they're growing quicker and leaving the area sooner than we might see in other areas, where you might see these lemon sharks spend 5 to 7 years, like in the Bahamas, like, you know, in the photos behind me, in Bimini, for example, spending 5 to 7 years of their life in and around the mangroves. Whereas these sharks, if there's competition in the space, that might be driving them. Also, one of the study areas is become more and more frequented by kayaks and paddle boards as part of ecotourism. It started out with a few companies. There's a lot more now. So you're seeing a lot more people in these mangrove channels and on these flats. And we're definitely noticing the turtle behavior and the shark behavior being impacted by that. So that's something we'll also be looking at, is while ecotourism is amazing and you want people to go see it, is there a maximum of how many people should be out there using it and how often? And so some of this data can be reported to that to hopefully see if some regulations and adjustments need to be made.
Cool. We're getting just a few questions coming in, if you don't mind, just about
sure.
you catching them and stuff. So they noticed that in the videos, especially, the sharks aren't like thrashing or trying to get away from you. Is there a reason for that? Are they just like pretty chill sharks? Do they not put up a fight, or are they just okay with being caught? I know that when you flip them upside down, they have the tonic immobility, right? And that kind of puts them asleep. But yeah, so why don't they just try and swim away from you?
So some of them do. Some of them are definitely a little feistier, and lemon sharks, you have to be extremely careful. They're very flexible. They can actually bite their own tail. So that's why we hold them in a very certain position. Yes, flipping them over can get them to kind of calm down. So it helps us with that, as well as the data that we're collecting. Yeah, it depends on the animal, really. So it's some of them fight more, some just kind of chill out, you do stuff, and then they go on their way. We are always monitoring that. If they start to get a little bit splotchy, kind of their skin's changing, and there's any sort of stress on the animal, we want to either just release it right away, or just make sure we're doing this very, very quickly. So I'm explaining it a little bit longer. We do this very, very quickly. Even with students, everything is knows their job. We collect the data and we let the animal go.
Cool.
So when we do have it flipped over, the other thing we look at is male or female. And so you can see here, males have claspers, their finger-like extension on their pelvic fins. So if you can see any type of shark diving, snorkeling at an aquarium, you can see underneath of it, you can impress your friends with your knowledge of whether it is a male or a female. And there's that little line you see, that's the umbilical scar. Lemon sharks are born alive. So the mothers give birth to live young that are attached to an umbilical cord. And when they come out, they actually break free of that. They kind of fight. I've been lucky enough to see it. It's incredible to watch these little sharks start life, and they just flail around. They break that cord, and then they're kind of like groggy a little bit, and then they're off and right into the mangroves. And these large females will come in very, very shallow, as close to the mangroves, pretty much beaching themselves to give birth, to give those babies the best chance to go into that mangrove habitat, that nursery area, to start life out, have a chance to find food and shelter. And so
how many pups will a mother lemon shark give birth to?
It's on average about 10 to 15.
Okay.
The one I saw gave birth to 10, which was really incredible. And that scar, we can look at how open or closed it is. That's one of the things we note down. So if it's really open, it's fresh, that shark was just born, but then it'll start to close up. So we know within a month, a few weeks. No, we don't know the exact date, but we have an approximate timeline of, okay, we've caught this one, which is about the same size, right? Maybe they're both 58 to 60 centimeters, or 2 feet. But this one has a belly button that's half closed, and this one is maybe a quarter closed. So we know they weren't born at the same time, but very close and very similar. And just some releases. You'll see these guys getting released and back into the habitat, which is always really, really exciting. And they're swimming off strong. Again, we do, we try to do this as quickly as possible and have minimal impact on the animal, and set them off, and hope that we see them again. Also, the notch that you saw we put in for the DNA, when we're dip netting them, we can avoid those sharks if it's the same. Say we're there the same week, it's just a different day, we can avoid them. We've already caught them, so we don't need to catch them again. But what's really amazing is we caught sharks last May. We went back in November, caught them again because the notch was completely healed, and it was sharks we caught. So it does heal up very quickly. Another aspect of the research we're doing is we're actually using BRUVs, so baited remote underwater videos. This is kind of letting us spy on sharks. They've become very research, different habitats, there's pelagic BRUVs, different environments. And what you do is cameras, usually a GoPro, are set on, mounted on it. You can see there's some chum put in that bait crate. It's lowered in, it's set. We set ours for an hour and 10 minutes so that we get the full uninterrupted hour of footage. And you wait and see what shows up. So it could be sharks, other fish. It helps us understand kind of which prey items in there, predator and prey distribution, populations, diversity. So you spend a lot of time looking through that footage and to just learn a little bit more about what might be in the area. And what we're using is we're also putting it in places that maybe we've not seen the sharks, but we think they're there. So we're just kind of putting cameras down so we can see, like, are they actually there? They're just not coming to our gear or coming to us, but we think they're there and we want to answer that question. All right. And this is just some footage of some lemon sharks. trying to get into the snack box.
What do you use for bait?
We usually use bonita. That's what we pretty standard
Okay.
there. That's what we
Big
use.
fish.
Yep. And
Some sort.
yeah, just it's an oily fish, so it kind of puts out a nice trail. And you can see that was an adult lemon that came in as well. So, so really kind of to recap this project and what's happening and what's exciting, one of the things I'm really proud of our team, we have a lot of incredible women that I get to work with, both local and from the Sharks for Kids team. And so that's really, really exciting. And each year our team has been expanding. And so I think along with the research and the students, it's really seeing the incredible team that we're building and finding new locations. So exploring, so this is quite a large lemon shark. This was the first shark they caught at a brand new site this past May, right? That's a much larger lemon shark, as you'll see, than our little ones. Beautiful color. You'll notice kind of on that one, it's a much lighter yellow. So more of that lemony color that they're named for. And then kind of also cruising through, searching for new sites. We do spend a lot of time at our sites that we've set up. We know there's going to be sharks there, but we're also on every trip exploring new locations and new sites just to try and understand what is happening around these islands. It's a lot to do and explore because there are extensive mangroves, which is amazing. And one of the things about mangroves is they're so important for animals above and below, but also the islands in storms. And like many other places in the Caribbean, they're always under threat from development. So also understanding that maybe if this is another nursery, because one of the nurseries we work in is protected. So understanding that maybe there won't be a shark sanctuary banning the capture, but maybe there'll be certain areas that become more protected. So those nursery habitats where these little ones are spending, growing up, getting ready to go out into deeper water, at least giving them a chance, at least protecting that area so that the population can thrive. The other challenge of this, we do know that locals eat shark there. There's a couple restaurants that also serve it. So one of the questions we have, well, is that sustainable? We don't actually know. And so you can't go in and say, stop that if you don't actually know what's going on. So I think a big part for us is, we love sharks, but we're also working with the local community to understand the challenges they face and making sure everyone has a seat at the table. So, talking to fishermen, understanding that so that when, changes are made to management, that it's made with everybody in mind, including the animals and keeping the entire system healthy.
When you say you look for new spots, do the sharks, the lemon sharks, are they not just ubiquitous everywhere in the mangroves, or do they have, what do they look for? Why do they go to specific spots? How do you identify a new spot? Also, there's a question that kind of goes with that from one of our guests, in that, do you see other species that cohabitate, such as sawfish? It looks like such a perfect habitat for sawfish. Anyway, 2 questions there for you.
No sawfish. That would be incredible. But we certainly do see other species, nurse sharks. We've caught black nose, caught a tiger shark. Now everyone was very excited about that, a small tiger shark. And because we are trying to catch sub-adult, slightly bigger lemon sharks to kind of, their life history, how much of it is spent here and around these particular spots. It's really just trying to fill in the puzzle pieces to understand what their life looks like here in order to make better management decisions. And so when we look in areas, we're looking in areas that there are reports from locals. So fishing guides, a lot of the bone fishing guides tell us where to go because they see these little sharks on the flats where they're bone fishing. Eco tour guides as well. Usually good water flow in and out of the channels, places that they can get up into without larger predators being able to get up to, food sources as well. And it's going to also be, if that female, we believe, we've seen this in other areas, it will take years for us to figure it out if it's true here, is that the female lemon sharks will return to the place that they were born. So it could just be that you know, those sharks keep returning to that site. That site was the best opportunity at the time. And maybe this mangrove channel over here wasn't, or it's changed over time. You know, island shift, sandbar shift, channels shift. So really we're looking for good flow and places that, you know, these little sharks can actually get up close to the flats, find shelter, not too far away. But it varies quite a lot because there's just so much mangrove habitat there. But we have found channels where we've not seen them on the brubs and we've not seen them on the drone or by boat. So we believe they're not in those places. Another really exciting aspect is we're getting more and more community members out. This is Destiny. She's a science officer for fisheries. So getting people from team members from DECR and fisheries, which are the permitting agencies that are actually granting us the research permits to do this, getting them to come out with us to see what we're doing and why we're doing it. And it's really great to see, you know, Destiny be able to go back and talk about that and understand, because there is a fear of sharks. And, you know, now she's holding this little shark, and she can go talk about that with her colleagues and her peers. And so we want to see that and have people understand a different side to these animals, because there's an incredible amount of fear everywhere about sharks. And so the more education you can do and the more firsthand experience you can give people, then the more likely that they're going to, you know, be part of conservation, be part of that conversation and feel included and feel like they have a voice as well. You know, we're not from there, but we're working with local partners to make sure that the local voice is included in anything that we're doing, and to make sure that this can be sustainable and long lasting. And more, we partner with big, whoops, go ahead.
I was saying that's so important. That's so like it to make sure, like you said in the beginning, that so you don't have to be there to make it happen. It's the community that makes it happen, right? That's citizen science, the definition of it, right? Just a quick time check. We have some questions rolling in, so I'll leave time for some questions at the end. So about 5 minutes.
Perfect, that works. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So yeah, so we work with Big Blue Collective. It's our local partner. They're a dive shop there. They also run eco tours, and the owners of the company are from there and have a lot of knowledge, have seen the shark populations change based on their time there and seeing the numbers drop because they are out all the time. And so that's been really invaluable, and getting more and more of their team involved. So it's great because their team then can go out into when they're taking guests out, either scuba diving or on a paddleboarding tour, they can share this information. And so making sure that, again, we're getting more and more community members out. And that's just finishing with students. We can see here, I'll just show this quick video.
That's nice. I'm jealous. I want to go.
So the students, we've taken over 50 middle school and high school students out. The first year, the logistics were a bit tricky, learning the areas. It's a smaller boat that we're using, so we can't take 25 students at a time. And so these are some of the students that have gone out with us, and it's so exciting to see them. And they just, a lot of them are really nervous at first, and then now they get to touch a shark, they get to tag it, they get to do all aspects of the research. Plus we do like a little class with them on everything from the ecosystem to mangroves to shark ecology and biology, and then why we're doing what we're doing, and the workup and the data. So all parts of it, it's really amazing. And this to me is, these kids are the future. So that's everything that Sharks for Kids is about, creating these future advocates that will be voting. They will have jobs as scientists. They will be eco tour guides, scuba instructors. They'll choose what fish to eat or not eat and how they spend their money. And so when you give them this experience, it's going to change their perspective as they grow up about these animals, but also what opportunities exist for them to get involved. This is just a final video. This was this year. We had a lot of rain, and the students were absolute troopers one of the days. Everybody was soaked. They got to do all parts of it, inserting a pit tag, data. The cameras are wet, they're wet. That's another play. Yeah, so most of these are from the rain day.
I mean, you're in the
And
water
it's
already, right? So, I mean.
Yeah, but it actually got chilly. I know nobody feels bad if you don't live in Florida, the Caribbean, but everyone did get a little bit chilly. So, and the final part of that is then in the classroom. We visit, we provide materials for the students there, projects. This is a packet that's all about Project Lemonade. And so not only do we talk to kids about sharks, we get to also share with them what's being done right in their backyard and get them excited that when they get older, if they're young students like this, that this might be something they get to be part of. And we've had high school students where we've done a talk at the school, and then the next year those students are getting to come out with us. So it's really, really amazing to be able to share the research. And this is just really kind of full circle. It's a community-driven project in that the community is involved heavily. The students are involved, the kids are out in the field with us, our local partners, NGOs, and fisheries management, DCR, getting out there. And so we believe that will make an impact, and that will set us up for this project to be long lasting, but also to see management put in place to protect the mangroves, to protect this species, for the future of fisheries, for the future of the islands, and all the opportunities that these animals and these healthy systems create through tourism, through fisheries and things like that. So really, really something I'm incredibly proud of. We're really lucky. This is also a Save Our Seas funded project. So we're very, very thankful for that. Some of our other supporters. And you can go to the website, check out, it's under the research tab. If you guys can see, I don't know your screen, but there's a research tab, and you can check out Project Lemonade updates. We share a lot of it on social media as well. Updates from the field, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and you can see some of the data there as well. Things like smallest shark, biggest shark, how many sharks we've caught. But yeah, thank you so much. It's, like I said, it's a project I'm incredibly proud of and really, really excited. And we should be getting a bunch of our data back from the genetic analysis very soon. So that's going to start really piecing the puzzle together for us. And so hopefully if I come back again, or if you guys stay tuned, we'll be sharing some updates as well. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back. I'm so invested in Project Lemonade. I need to know. I need to learn more and get all the updates. When you talk about shark research, this is such a holistic project. It's from, it involves the community, it involves education, it involves the hard research. It's just like what science should be. It's so aspirational and so amazing. Thank you for doing such a great project. So we have a lot of questions from the guests. First question for you is, how long do these sharks live?
So we know they live at least 40 years. So it might be longer than that. So lemon sharks can live up to 40 years. But like many other species, that's what we know. It could be longer, but we know that it is at least that.
And that's with the lemon shark specifically, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
What do you know the longest living shark in the ocean?
Oh, well, the Greenland. Whoop. Where'd you guys go?
Oh, I took you off of.
Oh, sorry. I was like, where'd it go?
So we could see you.
Yep. Yes, perfect. So the Greenland shark is the one we know that lives the longest, and it's over 400 years. So there's over 500 species of sharks, and they're incredibly diverse. So, you have some that are anywhere kind of teens, 15 to 18 years. And then you have this Greenland shark found in, around the Arctic cold waters that can live over 400 years.
400 years. That's incredible for a living animal to trees can live a long time, right? But that's great. That's incredible. Let's see, natural predators of lemon sharks. What is out there? Why do the moms spend so much effort going into these mangroves? What are they protecting their babies from?
Other sharks. including lemon sharks and barracuda and osprey. We've seen, like I've seen photos and stuff, and my husband actually saw an osprey pick up a small lemon shark in Bimini. It dropped it, but it tried. So that's probably not as common, but certainly barracuda and other sharks when they're small like that.
And so for anyone that an osprey is a fish eagle, they are specialized for catching fish. All right, cool. Let's see. There's a bunch of questions been coming in. Do all sharks have belly buttons? It's such a cute idea for these lemon sharks.
No, I know. And they don't have it their whole life. It depends on the species. These guys we're seeing, by the time they're about a year and a half, it's pretty much gone. It'll just close up and then it'll completely disappear. But I love sharing that fact because it's something that kids think is pretty cool, right? I have a belly button, the shark has a belly button. It's really fun. So no, not all species have that.
Oh, you froze there for a second, Jillian.
Well, there's kind of a variety, but the main ways are they'll. Am I back?
Oh, yes, we got you back. That's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, some sharks lay egg cases, completely external. People call them mermaids' purses when they find them empty on the beach. Other sharks will actually have egg cases inside, and then the babies hatch out, and then they're born alive. So not all species have umbilical cord connection to give that little belly button.
More lemon shark specific questions. Everyone wants to know about the lemon shark. How long do they get? How big do the adults get?
So you're probably seeing 2 to 2.5 meters are kind of the average, size, maybe approaching up to 3 meters. They're not one of the larger species, but still a very healthy, size shark. Anything from, 2 to 3 meters is still a decent size animal.
And so for those of you that are not very familiar with the metric system, that is 6.5 to 10 feet.
Yeah, so probably
7 to 10 feet, something like that.
Yeah. Sorry, it's
No, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
We should all be working on the metric system in my view. But anyway. Well, I know that lemon sharks like to eat other fish when they're grown. You said they'll even predate themselves and others of the same species. So they must have pretty sharp teeth. Similar to like a tiger shark or maybe not as aggressive as a great white, but how many teeth do they have? Do they go through the same, they lose a teeth, they go through thousands of teeth in their lifetime, but how many teeth would they have in any given moment?
Yeah, so you're talking in a lifetime for a lemon shark, because if like lemon sharks lose their teeth all the time, and they're not serrated like a tiger shark. They have a different diet. You can think of them more like for grabbing at fish. So they are pointed, just not as serrated. Like a tiger shark's going to saw through its turtle shell and eats a more diverse diet. But something, lemon shark can have up to about 30,000 teeth in its lifetime. So
30,000.
You're talking an animal that's living,
crazy.
30 to 40. So lots and lots of teeth.
Right. Well, that's why we can find fossilized shark's teeth and shark's teeth on the beaches sometimes. Okay, very good. There's some more questions that, like I said, they kept rolling in. This is awesome. If anyone has any more questions, we do have more time, so keep posting them. A question about educators. So I think we have quite a few educators on tonight, and they're interested in learning more about your programming. Do you have any special classes for educators or any courses that they could do? Can educators come out there with you and do some of this? Uh-oh, Jillian's frozen again.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we
do
have
Now I got you back.
Okay, I'm here. Good.
Yes.
Okay, great. So we do have online workshops that we offer, and we do also have in-person workshops that we offer. We've done one, and we've done single day ones or weekends where we actually partner with the field school in Miami. You come out, you stay on the boat, we do lessons at night, and then you get to participate in all different aspects of shark research during the day. and then bring that back to your classroom. So we have different resources and materials. We explain. And so how do you take this incredible hands-on research experience and take it back to your students and teach them, and how do you integrate that? So yes, definitely have those kind of opportunities and resources. You can find that information on the website. Like this Saturday, we have an open to the public. We'll do lessons as well, tagging Shark Research Day. So you get to be a marine biologist for a day to learn. And again, how to bring that back and just have that information. So yes, definitely check out the website for those resources and opportunities.
Teach the teacher. That's always important too, right? So another question about the lemon sharks and hurricanes. So we noticed that they're in these mangrove habitats, shallow water, tidal areas. What do these little guys do when a hurricane rolls through? Like the one that just came through, Hurricane Beryl, like came through, barreling through at a Category 5. What happens to these little juvenile sharks during events like that?
So depends on kind of the location and where they are. If they can get deeper back into the mangroves, and it can act as a barrier, because mangroves act as a barrier from the storm. So if they're far enough up in there and there's enough water, we see other sharks go deeper. For these little guys, going deeper is probably going to be tough because of predation and things like that. But you are going to see sharks go deeper to get away from that kind of, the surface storms and things like that, and move away from that. But mangroves provide incredible protection and kind of slow that surge. So getting further back up into those areas to seek refuge is going to be the best place for these little guys.
Yeah, another reason mangroves are so amazing, so resilient.
We need
they
them.
are our natural hurricane protection for us and also for the sharks, right? It's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So well, just one question just rolled in before I go for a closing sort of questions, but so where's this Saturday's event is occurring, so we can come and observe? Where can they? It's on the website, sharksforkids.com.
It is on the website, and I just actually posted. We do have one spot that opens up. One spot to go out. It's Leaves Out of Miami. If you go to the website and go under the Get Involved tab, you'll see a shark tagging thing, and you can or just message through the website. So we just had somebody that had to cancel, so we do have a spot.
The race is on, everyone. Day. Go.
I know. But we try to do a few of these a year, just to give everybody a chance. And it's not designed for students. Students can go. You'll read the information. But it's designed to give everybody a chance to go out and participate and be part of that and just have that experience, which I think is awesome. I mean, I would have loved, again, as a kid, but just to, I hear so many people say, I want to be a marine biologist, and we'll come out and be a marine biologist for the day.
Yeah, that's great.
And have some fun with us.
Sharks for Kids, the number 4, kids.com.
Yeah. All
right. So you're doing all this amazing research. It seems like you're quite the role model for anyone that wants to follow in your footsteps, right? And get involved in shark science. How can we keep up to date with you? How can we follow you along through your website and things like this, of course? But what can someone do to help protect sharks in general, and or maybe lemon sharks specifically? Is it eating sustainable seafood? Is it what is your view? How can people stay involved with what you're doing, and then help sharks in general?
Cool. Well, I am on social media as well. You can see the projects we're doing and all the Sharks for Kids stuff on our social media pages. It is like, Sharks for Kids, except on Instagram, we're at Shark Education. I'm Bimini Shark Girl on Instagram, so I do post a lot of shark content. If you like to see shark videos and photos, then you are in the right place. As far as getting involved and doing stuff, I'm a big believer in simple actions that all of us can do. And because it can be overwhelming with climate change and overfishing and pollution, it can get really overwhelming. So simple things, yes, making sure if you eat seafood, it's sustainable. And also, is there bycatch? What is that? Is that sustainable? Where is it coming from? Don't be afraid to ask questions about your food. Where is it coming from? How is it caught? Using less plastic. everyone talks about that because it matters, and it's now is the time. So grabbing those reusable containers, those canvas grocery bags, those are simple acts that everyone can do that really do make a difference. Supporting shark science and conservation, supporting organizations that are doing the work that we're doing. There's incredible organizations out there. I'm obviously a big fan of Sharks for Kids, but there are other organizations that are doing remarkable things as far as policy, other research, grassroots conservation. And so find out what's happening locally as well. Maybe volunteer. There might be an organization, beach cleanups, an aquarium, another NGO. There's opportunity. We have volunteers that do stuff for us from all different backgrounds. So find out, how you can volunteer your time as well. And get out there and see sharks. I think if you have a chance to snorkel or dive with them, and to do that, to see that, and then to share that story. Share if you have kids with their class, a library, your friends, your dive group. Talk about it. Share that experience, because the more people that are talking about it, the more people learn, and the more people that might want to take those simple actions as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. That's such great advice to everyday acts that may add up, that make a difference, right? And if we all do it, it makes a huge difference. So, Jillian, thank you so very much for joining us again, coming back and giving us an update and joining us and telling us about your amazing project. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for everyone for joining. And make sure you check out the updates on the Project Lemonade on the website. Yes,
we sure will. And thank you, everyone that's still stuck around to the very end. Join us next time. Like I said, this is a series that you can follow along. Our next speaker, August 1st, same time, 6 to 7. You can scan this little QR code or go to our website, mods.org, STEM Learning Series, to register for the event. Next time we are speaking with Jeremy Kiska from Florida International University. From South Florida here. He's a professor in the biological sciences department there, and studies blue whales and lots of other cetaceans and dolphins and things like this. Blue whales of the Seychelles. Hey, that rhymes. Talking about blue whales in the Indian Ocean. So it's sure to be another great talk. Feel free to join us then and learn. Thanks again to the Save Our Seas Foundation for sponsoring and making this this possible. Again, thank you all very much. My name is Lance from the Museum of Discovery and Science. We appreciate you all joining. Have a good night.